Hey guys, it's Skyrim time. Why am I playing Skyrim? Saw the title of the video, and the video's titled fucking Highrim. So my girlfriend made pot brownies for Thanksgiving. They've been pretty mild up to this point. And then I think like all the THC seeped into one corner of the fucking pan, and I'm I ate it, right? I ate that brownie in the corner of the pan, and like, ooh. It's hitting hard, and like brownies take a while to kick in. I ate it like 30 minutes ago. That probably means that it's only going to get stronger. And so you get to join me on this magical journey of Highrim, which is Alex playing Skyrim while high. Um, Holy shit. There's something really funny I was like thinking about before I hopped on here, but I totally forgot what it was. And so here I am playing Skyrim while high. There was something really, really funny I had in mind. It's gone. Uh, yeah, all the THC in one corner of the goddamn pen, man. Like, I am out. I just tried watching a friend's stream, and I'm just like, hold on, wait a second. Let me hop on Skyrim, and I'll show you. I didn't say that, but like, I had to like let them know, hey, I'm gonna lurk for a minute. I want to play Skyrim while high. How the fuck do you access your favorites in the PC version? Maybe I should just switch to controller. That might be better right now. That might be better for me right now. Can I turn that bad boy on and set it up? And I'm now sliding away from my PC, stretching this cable out really far, and like I could barely get through the fucking like output without fainting while setting this shit up. Man, this is gonna be really like hard to listen to later. Maybe I'll just show it to the guys for fun. Like, hey, I got really high and played Skyrim. Alright, right, yes, okay, turn the dongle on. Dongle. Man, I feel like they should change words when they start to resemble new slang for dick. Or any such other nasty term. Spiky grass. Nice. Oh yeah, on top of it, I am playing the Anniversary Edition update. I was informed that it would auto-update by my friend Travis after it had already done so. So, that's dandy. I totally missed the boat. That being said, I didn't have any mods installed because I have never been able to get mods to work for this goddamn thing. Which is fine. So, I get to play Anniversary-style Skyrim with almost no mods. I think I maybe have one or two installed. Where now I turn on the survival mode, and so now things are actually a threat to me. I'm actually playing as my D&D character. I actually started this save up last time I was high. Made it, started the save because I wanted to practice voicing my character. Then I forgot there's not that much dialogue in Skyrim, so I mostly just sat here in silence. I'd occasionally mutter to myself in character. But I didn't keep up. Just got to be too exhausting and it was hard to focus. And also, I was terrified my girlfriend would walk in at any minute and, like, I'd sound like a fucking crazy person. But hey, girlfriend's not home. I can sound as crazy as I want. That's what I get up to when my girlfriend's away. I don't, like, jack off to nasty pornography or anything. It's just, I'm gonna play Skyrim and talk to myself because I'm lonely. I mean, because I'm trying to practice my voice acting. Gold? Really? I can just mine that shit? Alright, cool. I forgot about that. This is the limpest mining animation I've ever seen. Mining animations in Dwarf Fortress look better. And they're not even animated. They're just numbers bumping in the numbers. Or ASCII art, people call it. I'll be honest with you, if you told me to describe what dwarf... Like, if I had to, like... Okay, if I had the ability to create pictures from memory, right? Like, an image in my head, it is now real. And you would ask me to, like, use Hermit Purple to show you Dwarf Fortress and what that game looks like while it's played. I couldn't give you anything because I've seen a lot of texture packs for Skyrim. I've seen a lot of texture packs for Minecraft. But I'll never forget what Minecraft looks like because its core is so strong. But like Dwarf Fortress, I can't remember that shit. I remember certain texture packs more, but there's just nothing in my mind. Wow, that's great looking, man. Like, people shit on Skyrim a lot, but I feel like this is the only game where you can really do this kind of thing. Like, say what you want about the game's quality, what the combat's like, what the writing's like, what the textures are like. But when you're out there and you're in it, man. Nordic... I've never even seen a Nordic barnacle cluster in this game before. It's new. It's also pretty, and of course, if you play for long enough, you forget what you, like, begin to memorize everything. But, but shut up. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I've been playing it too. I've played it that long too. I'm not really this one this much, but like Oblivion, definitely. I remember every enemy in Oblivion. It's not really in Skyrim. I guess the problem is it uses so little of its enemy range in its main quest. Like, there's all kinds of different enemies in Skyrim, but what are you gonna see in the main quest through most of the DLC? You're gonna see Draugr, you're gonna see skeletons, and you're gonna see dragons. Occasionally, a new thing will pop up, like Cthulhu will come and attack that town in Ardenfell. But... Sorry, Solstheim, I mean. However, you're mostly just gonna see... Wow, a clam. You're mostly just gonna see Draugr. But yeah, there's really no other game that you can just do this with. Just, like, pick a direction and go. I mean, yeah, there's GTA, but, like, it's too civilized, I guess, for it to, like, have the same effect. You know, much like there's no other post-apocalyptic game where you can just do this, in the case of Fallout, there's no other fantasy game that even comes close to the level of exploration and action and interaction that Skyrim offers. And, like, the Elder Scrolls series as a whole, especially if you take the other games into account. Like, you may really, really love Ultima Underworld, but what if the player wants to go and explore a field or, like, see the greater world out there, you know? Well, then you'd have to play one of the other Ultima games, but it's different, you know, exploring it in first person. You know, there's a lot of things you want to say when you want to make... Like, there was once upon a time where I kind of wanted to be an amateur video game journalist. Similar to, like, I don't know. Maybe, like, video game commentarist would be a better word. Because I was, like, inspired by Total Biscuit and stuff. But, like... There's a lot of bullshit claims people who talk about games make. Just because it makes sense, you know? Like, for instance, I was just about to say, I bet you that Ultima Underworld was mostly inspired by Ultima Zero, a Akalabeth. However, I don't know that. I don't even know if they took Akalabeth into account, or if they cared. Did you know that years later, in an interview with Koji Igarashi, one of the founders of the Metroidvania genre, specifically, okay, the Metroidvania genre is games that are like Metroid and like Castlevania Symphony of the Night, right? The creator, one of the main creators of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and this was post-Metroid, Metroid 2, and Super Metroid, said that he never even played Metroid, that it wasn't even an influence on Symphony of the Night, even though it so perfectly replicated that game's formula. Now, he might be full of shit, but that being said, if he's telling the truth, that's crazy, that they're so similar despite having nothing to do with each other. But, like, I bet you there were so many journalists that were like, Symphony of the Night is obviously influenced by Metroid. I wonder if there was, like, one or two journalists that were just like, it was obviously influenced by Spider-Bot. Or System Shock. A very clear influence on Metroid. But they'd have to really reach for Spider-Bot. And they'd have to really reach for System Shock, and they'd have to really reach for Metroid or Castlevania being influenced by fucking Spider-Bot, of all things. I've never even played Spider-Bot. I only know it from, Ross's Game Dungeon. Like, I don't know shit about Spider-Bot. Oh, that's me. I actually know a lot about Spider-Bot from that video. Anyway, back to the point. Games journalists and people that do commentary make shit up all the time. If you watch our early stream, like, okay, the entirety of our first Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines playthrough over on Lodge of the Cat, link below, was we claimed that Chris Avallone wrote that game. That's not true. I didn't, like, I just said it because it felt right, and what I assumed, you know? I had no reason to say that, it just felt right in my head when I said it, and nobody corrected me. But, like, yeah, I claimed that for the entire playthrough. I look like huge assholes doing it, but, like, am I trapped on this frozen island? I'm so bummed right now about this. I'd like to get off. But yeah, we'll just make shit up. So if I were to say Ultima Underworld was obviously influenced by Ultima Zero Akalabeth, which was a game that wasn't even called Ultima when it came out, it was just called Akalabeth. Escape from Doom, I think. But I could just make that claim. And if you like how it sounds, or you don't disagree with me, a lot of you would just go, yeah, this guy sounds like he knows what he's talking about. Not right now, of course, because I'm high off my ass, and I'm me. But... is that a fucking duck? No, that's a slaughterfish. Heal up real quick before I dive into the water. Alright, cool. Switch back to the greatsword. Right. I could just say that, and you'd believe. Like, there's so many... there are so many facts in my, like, mind that could best be described as soft facts. Like, these are things that, if you were not to challenge me, sound true, and when I think about them, they seem true, but I have no ability to pull up any information as to why that is so. In my brain, that is. I could probably disprove it in an instance if I wanted to look it up. For example, common claim, Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest 1, that is, it was called Dragon Warrior in the West, was influenced by Ultima. It's a thing everyone says, it was influenced by Ultima and Wizardry. And he said but I remember hearing that at some point, but I don't remember the lead developer of any Dragon Warrior or Dragon Quest game ever saying that. Maybe they did. They probably did, and I bet you there's someone going, you're stupid. It clearly says right here that any Dragon Quest fan would know this. I'm not a Dragon Quest fan. I'm a Final Fantasy fan. I know what Dragon Quest is, because people go, what's Final Fantasy like? They go, well, the early ones are like Dragon Quest. Actually, my friend Travis says that. No one else does. He just says it, assuming people will know what Dragon Quest is. Which, to his surprise, many people do. Which is impressive. I'm going to that place. I don't know what the fuck that place is, nor do I want to know, but I'm going there. Yeah, so we'll just say shit that we think is true. And we say it because we're not challenged, and because it's comfortable, and because we think it's true. A lot of times, a lot of those journalists that I, like, make fun of are, like, going, this was obviously influenced by Spider-Butt. Like, I'm just as bad as they are, and also, it's not... They're doing the same thing we're trying to do. The difference is people hate journalists. Like, I don't know, just like the term video games journalist has such prestige attached to it. But, like, what even is it? You know? The journalist who writes about video games, alright, that doesn't mean they're well-educated, that just means they got the fucking papers to show that they're allowed to do the job. That being said, a lot of, I remember hearing this, pretty funny, right? I remember hearing this somewhere, I don't know if it's true, but it was told to me that a lot of modern-day video games journalists just started as enthusiast press, like me or you, people who talk about games we like, and eventually, as their sites got more and more complex and more money flew in, they simply took on the title of video game journalist. Many of them have not gone to any such school for journalism, haven't gotten a degree. I'm sure newer ones have, absolutely. But yeah, like, it's been this transition from enthusiast media to journalism, and I just always thought that was interesting. We hold them to such high regards because of their name and income, but, like, they're really just fans who got lucky. There were fans who were on the right websites that took off, and over the years, they've become... Whoa, hey, who are you? An assassin? I haven't done nothing wrong. Why would you want to assassinate me? I'm good. Ah, there you go. Aha! I have vested you, assassin. I don't even care what you have to say. I'm just gonna take your shit. Give me that. That'll come in handy later. Anyway, Yeah, so people just say shit because it sounds true. They're good to break. They're useful though. Like, I'm not gonna say, I should never say anything unless I'm absolutely, completely, and totally sure it's gonna be true. Because one, that's impossible, and two, lying or spreading misinformation like that, which is a really bad way of putting it, is useful. Having a bunch of knowledge inside your brain, whether it be true or untrue, is a useful thing to have in conversation. Being able to whip out a Bible quote when you're talking to someone at church, or like whip out a thing that happened in a book that someone hasn't read yet, is great. It's being able to just crack that information right out. And over time, you want to like update it and make sure it's true. If you talk to someone again and go, hey, you know that thing I told you last time? I was wrong. It turns out it's actually this other thing. But that also gives you extra chances for conversation. Like, let's say there's a girl you like, right? And you're like really into her. Gorgeous. She's everything you want. She is really, really into Invader Zim. Right? She's like crazy about it. Just cutest girl in the room wearing that Gur hoodie. Why not? Sure. And you go up to her, right? And you say, hey, you know that Zim was voiced by Billy West, the voice actor of Billy from The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy? And maybe she didn't know that, or maybe she'd be like, idiot, I already knew that. But let's assume she didn't know it, right? For the sake of this conversation. This conversation that I'm having with my computer and nobody. She doesn't know it. And what you just said makes her interested, excited, and she might ask you more questions that you can follow up on. You could also lie. You could just totally lie about the questions you're following up with. But what matters is that you're talking to her, and she's interested in what you have to say. And what's also important is that what you think is that you believe your shit. You need to believe what you are saying to her. Otherwise, there's a chance they may think you're just lying to them out of malice. It's much easier to believe someone. It's much nicer to believe someone is ignorant than someone is like mistreating you. So anyway, yeah, you tell her this information. She loves it. You keep talking just about other things, and eventually you begin to form a relationship with her, become good friends, and you end up dating. Things go great, but you're new at it. You're naive. You don't really sure what's going on. You don't really know everything about this girl. Why the hell does this bandit have a lightning staff? Fuck you. That didn't come into the equation. There was no bandit with lightning staff at that prom thing. Anyway, yeah, so you're getting comfortable with her, but there's some awkwardness, and eventually, out of shyness, he ends up breaking it off. And like a good boyfriend should do, you respect her wishes and, part ways. Things are awkward for a while. You don't end up talking much. Was that real-time fish jiggle? Was that real? Oh my lord. Real-time fish jiggle, ladies and gentlemen. Even Red Dead don't have that. It probably does. Again, things you'll just say because you think they're true. Let's chop some wood. Did I already take this axe? I did. I did already take an axe. Fuck. Right. Words. Yes. Words and deeds. Ashamed. Yes. So, things go chilly for a while. You two break up, you break it off, and then what ends up happening is one day you're just browsing on the internet and you're like, oh crap, Billy West didn't voice Zim. He only voiced Zim for a couple episodes, and then it switched to another person who also voices Zim. I lied to her. Shit, I should probably, or I misinformed her. I should probably find her and tell her the truth. And so you go to school the next day or college, and she's hanging out with her new group of friends, and you're like, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? She's like, yeah, sure, of course, what's up? And it's like real quiet, and she's kind of like hopeful that you're going to like ask her something, and she's really nervous. She's not ready for that right now. She just wants to be friends, and you just go, yeah, so you know that Zim quote I told you? It's kind of bullshit. Billy West didn't always voice Zim. He only voiced him on these couple occasions, in these games, or in these movies, or whatever. And she's like, oh, really? She goes from being like nervous to relieved that you just want to talk to her about Zim. And you end up talking about Zim again, and you actually found out all this other information. And this one little bit of misunderstanding has now led to you reuniting reuniting with someone that you really care about, and you begin to form a new relationship off that basis. People meet for the oddest of reasons. That's what a lot of lonely, like, forever alone kind of folks, sad boys, kind of misunderstand, is that you don't know how to get started in a relationship. Yeah, there are some guys who have it down to a science, but a lot of times it's with people that are looking for that kind of thing. If you want to have that real random 1 in a million love or whatever, you're going to want to just open yourself up to the information around you. Open your mind, man. Like, nah, just listen to shit. That would be what I would say. Listen to what people have to say, listen to things, learn things. Because the more people you are able to talk to, the more people you can form relationships with. The more people you can form relationships with, the more likely that it is that that relationship will deepen. Simply going outside your comfort zone and expanding your knowledge of stuff will make you a more interesting person to talk to. Like, people think it's because of how well you can discuss a single topic that makes you interesting. And yes, that does matter. If you're going to spend a lot of time with someone, you're going to need to gain a deep knowledge of many things. However, a lot of times, people don't want interesting. They just want you to like the things that they like. And you being able to, like, talk to someone about something that you otherwise would not be able to talk to them about will go a long way to helping you, build connection. And know people. Like, if you didn't know about, like, there was no reason why any single person would just rent. Like, you got lucky being in the same room with the girl who knows Zim, and that you would just happen to be interested in that, right? In this hypothetical thing where you're now trapped in my, you're trapped in my scenario now. I'm sorry, you can't leave. You're a piece on my board, and I'm gonna move you around until I finish the fucking topic I'm on. Anyways, little plastic person I'm talking to. Let's just grab a Space Marine and put him on the desk. Fuck it. There he is, right there. Okay, little plastic person I'm talking to, while I'm supposed to be playing Skyrim. The thing is, if you... oh man, this is great. If you are willing to expand your knowledge, you're going to be able to talk to more people. You're really lucky you found the girl who's into Zim, little plastic person. Because if you found the girl that was into mountain climbing and just happened to be wearing a Zim hoodie, you're fucked. You're just screwed. Let's say you even know she's into mountain climbing at all. You're just not going to have anything to talk about. The best thing you can do is hope that she is talkative and wants to tell you all about it. And if she's telling you all about it, listen. Like, for fuck's sake, don't interrupt her and try to redirect the conversation to a topic she's not into, but you're into. If she's talking to you about it without provocation, she's probably the kind of person who's talkative and doesn't want to be interrupted. Like, if someone came in the room and interrupted me right now while I'm trying to talk to you, little plastic Space Marine on my desk, it wouldn't, like, I wouldn't like it, and it wouldn't lead to it'd lead to a conversation where I'm on the defensive. So if you're around people that are really talkative, you're going to want to just kind of shut up, listen to what they have to say. Even if they're wrong. Holy shit, even if they're wrong. That's something I learned in political discussions. Hey, the person across from you may be saying the craziest shit you've ever heard, but if you want that person to like you, or not hate you, in my case, just quiet down and listen to what he has to say. And after you've listened to everything, there's going to be a bunch of things that you disagree with. Calmly and politely bring those topics up one at a time. Knock them off the list. Ask a question. Don't immediately go in with a stab. You're dissecting the creature, not trying to kill it. Again, you want to know what's up with this part of the conversation. And so you're like, so what was all that about that? I see. And why don't you think they deserve the right to vote? I mean, but what's up with that? I see. What makes them inferior to us? And like really break down the conversation with this person you're talking to at Arby's. Because like, yeah, this person you're talking to at Arby's might be a relative or a friend of a friend that you really want to get to know so that you can maintain a relationship. So now you're listening to them, they're talking to you, they're explaining why certain people of certain races have higher roles and ranks of government, and now you are building a lexicon of things that are incorrect that you need to crack. You have a list of topics, and what you need to do is either inquire further to find a personal connection so that you can understand them, or if they are bafflingly dumb enough, simply find facts that you can line up with those things in your mind, or on your phone, which you've been idly thumbing through this entire time. Use this opportunity to subtly look up each individual topic at the Arby's, and because you know that the other families around you are now getting antsy, because you live in a mixed neighborhood. It's very diverse. There's Hispanics, there's all kinds of folk, and they are now starting to get visibly agitated by your friend. The elderly Mexican gentleman one table over is now grumbling under his breath about the war, which you didn't even know existed. And so now you're just listening to this guy and you're quietly thumbing through this, and what you need to do is quickly and politely go, hey, you know, these people here, that at this point they discovered this. I just thought you'd find that interesting that it goes against what you just said there. Is there, do you have anything to say about that? Would you, what do you think about it? Do you think these people are on the level? Do you think they're corrupt? Yeah, at that point, you can kind of lead the conversation. And if you have an audience, it's a really good way to make the person look fucking crazy. But if you're just talking to them one-on-one, simply ask more questions. And eventually, you will find topics that are based off of ignorance, based off of misinformation, falsehoods. Personal experiences are a big one. But you just need to reveal that information to them in a polite way that makes them like you. Because you may have to just leave that room, but if they like you and you said things that they disagree with, one of those things are going to have to break. They're either going to have to stop liking you, they're going to have to accept that you just disagree, or they're going to have to accept that what you're saying is right. And from there, that person may come back and be a bit more friendly next time, and now you have something to talk about. So yeah, you would want to listen in that if that person's talking about those people and why they don't deserve certain rights and freedoms. Yeah, I'm high. Look at that. I've just solved a bigotry right here. Right here in OBS, I solved bigotry while this camera spins and makes me motion sick. Alright, let's get the controller back in my hands, shall we? Sorry about that. Alright, we're back to exploring the coastline. We've got some warmth in us. We're feeling better. Is that a person? No, it's a rock. Yeah, conversation and navigating such things is very difficult. So are a lot of things. I talk a lot about stuff, and I guess it makes me sound informed, but if all of what I just said was crazy, it makes me sound crazy. And I may be right about a lot of that. And if I am right, then that sucks, because I don't know how to apply that shit. I have such hard times talking with people. It's, really very difficult for me. Probably because I talk like this. And look like this. No, my looks aren't nothing to do with it. I've been genuinely considered as fairly attractive by other unattractive people. And so, application of knowledge is... I was always taught to believe that, man, you can know all the shit, but if you don't apply it, you know, room's not going to get any stinkier. I mean, nothing's going to get better, nothing's going to change, and so you need to actually, like, not only learn things, but learn how to apply things. And one of those things that you can apply quite liberally is cringe. Now, I don't mean making other people cringe. Well, I guess it could be part of it. But the cringe I'm talking about is that thing you said at that party all those years ago. And you remember the silence, everyone looking at you. You remember how not only was it silent while they're looking at you, that the party went silent right as they looked. And that everyone heard that thing you said to that girl about her relative. And now you're in an embarrassing situation. And so, you learned quite a few things that day, but you don't learn them as well if you forget the cringe moment. What the cringe moment needs to be is a scene in your brain. Think of it as a cursed shit trophy on your mantelpiece. Every now and again, like a trophy, you pull it out, and you gotta look at it, and you gotta examine it. Sometimes you want to think back to that trophy when you're out in public, and you might want to go, hey, is this situation I'm in similar to the situation that shit trophy describes? Am I doing the same thing? Or it might become a fear. And you might want to install the shit trophy in sight so that whenever you whenever you start to do something that you think is similar to it, you can just think back to it and reflect on it and go, yo, that was a big mistake. I don't ever want to do that again, and I'm going to avoid that situation no matter, like, as hard as possible. Example time, because of that horrible analogy I just came up with involving sculpting a trophy out of shit. What? Anyway, out of that horrible analogy, I bring you this. An example of, hello. Howdy.
Halt!
What is this place?
That's privileged information. Now, move along.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, so, shit trophies, right? Example of a shit trophy in my past. Many, many I cannot discuss. However, this one I can. I was playing D&D with my friend Arby and my friend Val. Val and I had just recently ended a relationship. Val and I were very stressed. Also, I was not wanting to be around her at all at the time because, well, we just got into a lot of arguments and weren't getting along well. That being said, there was a moment in the campaign where a quest giver we were talking to and had been doing work for stated that if he would kill an entire town of people if we did not do the quest he gave us in time. To which the party responded, "Oh shit, we better hurry." And to which I responded by drawing my swords and plunging them into the guy's chest. This was a mistake. In my defense, I had been drinking during the campaign, but like, anyone who plays D&D knows that that's a no-no. Like, not killing a random NPC, but like, not asking the party first. Like, that was the big thing, is that, yo, ask, dude. Just throw us into a combat scenario we don't want to be a part of. We're part of the same party as you. Why don't you just fucking ask next time? I didn't, and that was stupid of me, and an argument ensued that got rather heated. And I realized that as my character was getting angry, I was getting angry. And it was just one into the other. And so I learned that day that I should probably not play D&D characters to get angry. Also, I shouldn't have arguments. I shouldn't let real life shit carry over into D&D, and I probably shouldn't have arguments like that. That being said, the thing that I largely took away from it is, hey, if I feel myself getting actually heated during an RP of anger, an emotion that causes me physical pain and actually makes me feel bad for hours, like I get really depressed when I get angry, then don't play characters that get that mad. Play characters that are laid back. Because in the case of Alexander, the character I was playing, I just went, stab, haha, because I'm mad, and then the party got angry, and then I got angry in character, and we argued in character, and then the voices dropped, and we just started yelling at each other. Maybe I shouldn't be climbing higher into this tower if I want to avoid freezing to death. And eventually it just became so hostile, and I think the moment I said, like, I think I'm just done playing, my friend just went, this isn't fun. Val went, this isn't fun anymore. And I went, shit, I just ruined everything, let's bring it back. And I did in a really cringe way by claiming this was some part of grand character development for Alexander, but like, everyone there knew, myself included, that it was a cop-out and that I just wanted to keep playing and felt bad. And I should have just apologized, and I did after the campaign, but it taught me some lessons of just, hey, maybe avoid that for now. You're not ready for it. Keep it friendly, keep it light. Maybe stop making such rash decisions in character out of nowhere. Something I learned later with the death of a cat in a campaign. I shot a cat in a campaign, and like, ever since then, the party just made fun of me constantly for it. I don't know why I did it.
You're not welcome here.
I'm cold here, Watchman.
Go on, get out of here.
Here, can I kill you and take a key or something?
Go away.
I'm trying to warm up. Anyways, let's see how long this guy bitches at me. But yeah, I got really upset during the D&D campaign. So like, whenever I start to feel like I'm acting cringy in D&D, or if I'm maybe contemplating an action that'd be pushing it too far for the party, then you're gonna wanna, you know, I'm gonna wanna back it off a bit. That's a funny thing about D&D. It's something I didn't understand before, but I guess it was because I was just kind of an antisocial fuck. One of the things that I remember being made fun of, in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, or sorry, Vampire the Masquerade, the newer edition of it, was a specific rule not to saying, hey, look, ask your players what they're comfortable with. See what they want to be around, see what they don't want to deal with, and avoid certain topics if possible, unless specifically requested. Topics such as sexual assault and otherwise. I laughed at that. A lot of us did back then, because we were just edgy assholes. Peckish and tired, ain't food. But in retrospect, after actually playing D&D for a minute, yeah, be careful, because there's a rule. There's a saying I heard recently that I really liked, and I would apply it to the situation. And that is, the best RPG system is the one that you can find players for. Like, look, you may love Cyberpunk Red, you may love Pathfinder more than D&D 5th Edition. It's easier to find players for 5th Edition. And
Go on, get out of here.
if you want to have people to play your match and actually be part of your game, then you're gonna probably have to suck it up and play something else if you're not finding people. Now, if you're lucky enough to be one of those people that just has players around all the time, I'm happy for you. That's just not what I do. And so, much like players, it doesn't matter how immersive your setting is, how dark the subject matter is, and how uncompromising you are. Like, I'm going to give the players are going to have the experience that they want no matter what. It's going to all be completely immersive and in lore, and I won't retcon or change anything because I am a serious DM. And I'm not making fun of that. I'm saying that's what I do existed back in the day, and what I'm thinking of generally. Or player characters, like, I don't care, I should be able to do what I want, it's D&D. I don't care if I'm acting out of alignment, I don't care if I'm making people at the table uncomfortable with what I'm doing in-game to their characters. It's, it's my freedom, it's my game, I play this game to do what I want. You gotta understand that you're not gonna, people don't want to be around that one, and also, if that's not the kind of thing the group wants to do, you're gonna find yourself ostracized or even kicked out of the group. And so, yes, the purity of the game is that you should be able to do whatever you want, live another life in another world free of with actions having consequences. However, there comes a time where it's like, look, man, you've done this to the horse one time too many, and we know you paid for it. We know it's your horse in game, and we know that you want to do whatever you want to the horse in the game because it's D&D. You gotta stop. That can't keep happening. No, yeah, sure, don't make an in-character, like, there's no character reason for you to stop. I know. But, you gotta stop, man. That's not okay. Like, we're doing this shit in a library, too. Like, this was an online game, I'd still not be okay with it, but at least I wouldn't be afraid of going to prison with the kind of shit that you're saying. Actually, let's just stop talking. I don't know you. But yeah, that was an extreme example, but just like, you're gonna need to understand what other people are interested in at the table, and you can't just do whatever you want. There are some tabletops that will, like, you may kill the mood with certain things. Like, you may kill someone who really doesn't deserve it, and that may just annihilate the mood of the table. And you're gonna need to be aware that, like, hey, this one random NPC that you really hate, the party likes. And if you just stab them and, like, murder their wife and kids out of just sheer spite for how much you hate them, that would fly if you were playing Skyrim at home. But you're playing Dungeons and Dragons with 8th graders in a library. I don't think this is the best idea. Those kids really like that character. And they don't want her dead, and so you're gonna need to actually understand what your party wants, and not just act out of impulse. Just you gotta take it easy sometimes, man. I'm gonna eat all this clam meat. Yeah. So if you try to eat all the clam meat at a market, well, there won't be any clam meat left for anyone. Oh yeah, I know the topic's run its course, and I've been dragging it out. Sorry, I've been trying to jump from one topic to the next. Cooking. I really like cooking, but when I think about it, I actually have a really limited grasp of things that I can cook. Sure, I can fry up meat, I can make noodles, but, like, I really do want to get a cookbook and, like, just start going through the list and trying to make recipes and improve on them. I think that would be really fun. But, you know, I gotta get around to that time. I also gotta get around to just having the income to do such a thing. For now, though, I'll make you a hell of a spaghetti. With my meager budget and limited dishware. Also, hey, buy pans. Like, every time you see a new pan that you think you might need at some point, just grab it. Like, don't try to save up and get a full set. You'll eventually get there. What you need right now is just enough cookware to get the work done. Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and jump back up to the top. I do miss camping, too. Camping was fun. I remember when I went camping one time with my grandpa. We sat in the backyard, which someone would go, "It's not camping, you weren't in the wilderness." It's in the backyard, it's fine. And so we camped in the backyard, roasted and ate marshmallows, and oh wow, there's so much clam here. Is this clam paradise? And ate roasted hot dogs and such. But what I do remember most is us sitting and drawing together next to the warmth of the lantern. And that was really fun, you know? Just doodling different comic book characters, him drawing it, and me trying to draw it too. Taking turns with this exceedingly thin paper that was actually meant for seeing through and tracing. It was really interesting. I haven't heard mention of it since, but that was a type of paper you could get. It's 3 in the morning. Let's sleep for a full 6 hours, shall we? That's a really fond memory of mine. That's it. That's it. I drew Star Wars things because I was really into Star Wars at the time. Let's sleep for another 4 hours, shall we? He mainly drew superheroes. Sleep's fun, you know? Sleep is a fun thing to think about, and it's frustrating for me because I am told there are so many rules for sleeping. Like how you should sleep, how long you should sleep, where you should sleep, where shouldn't you sleep. You need your full 6 hours, you need your full 8 hours, you need your full 10 hours. My sleep's bad. I can't get it, you know? Whenever I start to, like, I just don't feel like I've had good sleep in years, and I've just gotten used to it, and now I've pretty much resigned myself to being a person who never really feels fully rested. It's very sad, I know, but yeah, it's just been one of those things I've struggled with for a while. Like, I remember when I was a little kid, there were days I would get up and just feel excited and ready to go and energized, but I got this weight to me now. Maybe it is actual weight that I've gained. Maybe if I lose weight, it'll go away. But, like, where it's heavy. Everything I do feels heavy and slow. Maybe that'll only get worse as I get older, but, like, that's just how I've been for a while. Every now and again, I'll throw my hand out there real quick. But, like, overall, I'm a slow person. Everything has this weight and tiredness to it. Walking too fast wears me out. I find it difficult to walk without my feet hurting, I guess. And this just went from sleep is dumb and I can't sleep to I'm getting old. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm just getting older. I'm 24, you know? I'm getting close to halfway to 30 and I'm just like, what will me as a 30-year-old be? Probably the same, but like, that's the next big step, you know? I turned 20 and it just kind of went on by. I was already an adult ever since I was 18, so suddenly being 20 didn't change much, except for everyone was like perfectly comfortable just giving me alcohol, which was nice. I really wanted to, yeah, with sleep, it's just like, it's always been tough for me. Like, I hit a certain age and then just good sleep disappeared. Maybe it was the addition of caffeine. Maybe if I dish caffeine, it'll go better. But like, caffeine's so, are you guys cool? I guess the word you'd use for caffeine is it's so deceptive. Like, maybe if you drink a lot of coffee, you'll know what I mean, but like, caffeine feels the way that I think energy should feel. When I drink a lot of caffeine, it actually does what it's supposed to do. I feel young again. I know that sounds sad, but like, that's the truth. I feel like I'm little 10-year-old Alex sprinting through the fields. but it goes away. It just, I feel it for that minute, as long as it lasts. But then the moment I digest it, and it passes. Bad. I feel tired and heavy. Like I have this, like, how would I describe it? I have this thick layer of gel surrounding everything I do, and it only gets thicker. And I can drink more to take the gel off, but I'll never feel as good as I did for that couple of hours while it worked. Now I take a caffeine pill in the morning. I take, one, I used to take just one, but now I grab the CBD pills that also have caffeine in them, so now I'm taking that plus that, and I really shouldn't. I should really drop the caffeine pill, but I just went, ooh, more caffeine, and I just didn't think it through, you know? And so now I've got to wean myself off the goddamn caffeine pill. Should I take the iron ore? I don't know, let's just keep going. And so, like, yeah, that energy is just ruined for me, and so sleep is hard. I have trouble falling asleep, and I have trouble staying asleep. Well, no, I sleep like a rock. I stay asleep real good. It's just getting any sort of payoff for sleeping. Like, I feel like I wake up feeling worse than when I lie down. And I don't know what I'm supposed to feel like, because I'm getting the full 6 to 8 hours. It's just frustrating, you know? Sorry, I got a bit too emotional there, folks. Sorry about that. And so, a couple months ago, when I was on stream, I said, sleep is bullshit. That's what I was talking about, is that a caffeine high feels the way that I feel sleep should feel. Catch my meaning. I feel energized, I feel awake, I feel ready to go, I can do anything. I have moved out entire households just from a caffeine high. Like, I drank my mom's coffee when I was younger, and I was, like, tired and sluggish, and I couldn't move, and it sucked. So then I just started making iced coffee for myself and drinking it while moving. And you know what? Moving got easy. Up to that point, I was one of those kids that would complain every time their parents had them do chores of any sort. Would just bitch and complain and whine, but, like, I did it. I just did it, and it went fine. You know? I think after that point, I never complained about such things again. I mean, I can't go that way. Oh, am I off the map? Shit. That's crazy. Anyway. Wait, am I off the map? No. Am I? Hold on, can I move further north? No, I'm on the map. I was going off the map, that's what happened. No, what? Oh, let me check. No, that's facing inland. That's so weird. Can I fast travel? Can I just return to the nearest human settlement? I'm so lost. Castle Volkilar. Maybe if I get off the mountain, it'll be better. Like, I was afraid to go up into the snowy areas earlier because it would be too cold, but I'm on top of a mountain right now, you know? I think sky's the fucking limit. We'll rest at the camp there for a bit, and then we'll continue. Yeah, sleep is difficult, and I stopped complaining about chores at a certain age. Now, I mean, like, I don't... If you were to tell me, hey, do your chores, I'd be like, fuck off, I'm busy. But, like, I don't dread the thought of it. I used to, like, hate it when I was younger. But now I just burn right through it. Maybe it's because I worked a job. Like, I always told myself I'd be fine working at a job because I'm getting paid for it. You know? Like, I didn't want to just work for no reason. That's the way I saw it as a kid. But hey, you know, no, getting paid helped a lot. Helped me get over that. I even started priding myself on my work. I went from being like, just for the money, man, to like, oh yeah, sure, Mom, I'll help you move that dresser. Why not? Because I just got over it and decided it was fun. But like, even today, it carries over. When I do a nice load of dishes and they're all sitting there and looking nice and clean and sparkly on the towel that we have laying on the counter because we don't have a rack, I feel good. Would I want to do it if you asked me to? I'd probably tell you to fuck off. No, I'm busy. But, like, it feels good to do chores sometimes. And so, that brings me to an interesting thought. Last time I went to see my therapist with my dog shit insurance, you stay away. I was given this piece of paper that described patterns of thought. And one of the interesting things that came up on the patterns of thought thing was that we typically have thoughts that are motivated by emotions and are then used to complete action. So we just have an instant emotional response to something, and then we act. We just emotion act. But that middle step of thought to make you go, wait a minute, no, hold on, this is not how this is supposed to play out. My emotions are controlling me right now. I need to chill. Can't end the process, but if you put that thing there and think about it, you'll be able to make a more accurate decision. And once you do, you'll be rewarded by good feelings if you made the right choice, or bad feelings if you made the wrong choice. But the point is, that thought process allows you to learn constructively and live. And I know a lot of people are like, well, that's so obvious. It's like, well, mental illness, as is the way it is makes it difficult for us to see such obvious things. Yeah, think before you act, yes. But really see a lot of people that look like they're thinking before they're acting. Not saying everyone else is doing it, so it's fine. It's just like, it doesn't feel like anyone around me is doing it. And so I feel like it's unfair towards me that I have to do it. I hope you catch what I mean. That being said, alright, I am freezing and tired. Well, I'm right by I'm standing in the fire. Let me just stand on the fire, maybe that'll help things. Let me just use the cooking spit, maybe that'll cause it to rock. But yeah, just you have these instant emotional responses that, with no thought in the way and no emotions toward them because you're drained, you just don't get anything out of it, and it's a dead end. Meanwhile, if you allow yourself to, think your way through a problem rather than just feel it out, you can then act and get an emotional reward. And because I live my entire life not doing that, I've run into a lot of mistakes and problems. I will have a strong emotional response to something, and I will then shape my thoughts around that emotional response, coming up with reasons, excuses, and encouragements and snappy comebacks in an argument, rather than just thinking my way through it and actually deciding to make the right decision. I will have a strong emotional reaction that motivates a bad decision. And so, the few times recently where I've stopped and went, wait, who cares? Why does it matter? Let's just let this go. For example, someone got me fired from my job a couple times ago. I hated their guts. But before that, they were our friend, and the girlfriend used to buy weed off of them. And so, when she owed him a bit of money from her last transaction, but she hadn't paid him. So a month later, she goes, "Hey, can I take some money out of the?" No, it was. I need to take some money out of my account. I go, "Okay, cool. What for?" He goes, "It doesn't matter." And so, what I probably should have done at that point was just let it go. However, I was suspicious, and I always get suspicious, and I don't like being told that someone doesn't know or I don't need to know something, or it doesn't matter. I like to know. Like, well, if it doesn't matter, then tell me. And so from there, we had this big argument of like, hey, fuck that guy. He got me fired. Fuck you. This is awful. I hate him. Don't do this to me. And I took it all very personally, when in reality, I probably just should have went, oh, cool, all right, well, we should pay him back even, because paying someone back after they give you a product is the right thing to do. But my real response was, oh, fuck that guy, So instead, I decided, after arguing it for a while and like a little bit of crying, yelling, I just went, you know what? I'm sorry, it doesn't matter. My bad. Just pay him the money you owe him, and we'll just leave this alone and forget about it, That health bar lied to me. Alright, so this fire is not going to help me. It looks like let me try to fast travel again, I guess. Solitude, maybe? Nope. Alright, yeah, looks like it's disabled. I'm lost in the wilderness. So sad. Right, I don't even know what I was going to say. But yeah, I wanted to, or not wanted to, I solved it just by, like, chilling and basically going, none of this matters. Damn it. Looks like I might have to cut through the freezing water up here. I'm, a bit concerned. Huh. How am I gonna make it through here? Maybe going under the icy water and then killing myself with nothing. Maybe. Crazy thought, I know. You know what? There was one place that actually warned me, and that was the entrance to that place that I walked by a minute ago. Right here, Northwatch Keep, and then Icewater Jetty takes me up there. Yeah, so I could take the jetty, go stand at that door for a minute to warm up, and then I can heal myself using healing, and then begin moving with a full health bar, you know? That might be just what I need. Yeah, I do hope that you guys are finding these topics interesting and that you're interested in what I have to say. I would be interested in what you have to say. Leave a comment down below. That'd be great. It's always good to have interaction with your community. You know, that's the #1 reason why I took my hiatus. In case you don't know, I run a channel with my friend Travis, known as Lodge of the Cat. It is a Twitch streaming channel where I stream things on Twitch. Crazy, right? Recently I had to take a break though. I just gotten too stressed. I got stressed arguing with the guys on stream, playing the games we were playing, realizing that our channel was not increasing in popularity, and I pretty much lost all the fun in streaming. Because the reason I started streaming in the first place compared to YouTube was that I actually got that immediate interaction of the community. And having that went a long way to helping me feel better about the fact that we had had very few viewers. And so, yeah. Now, I took my break, and I guess I'll head back to it. But, like, yeah, the community interaction was the best part. And it still is. It always is. Like, we may play a really good game, but it wouldn't be as good as it was without the community there to interact with us. And I'm not trying to, like, toot your horn or anything like that. It's more just, it's nice to have. It's a nice thing to have people to talk to. And so when that's gone, it's really depressing. That's what makes YouTube work so difficult for me personally, is that I'll spend hours on this long video, or on this video, and I'll upload it, be it a shorter video with some editing, or a longer video like this one, because it's the most I can do as a YouTube person. Like, I'll come back hours from now, and it's just one like, one view maybe, even though I shared it to a bunch of people. Just the lack of interaction for me is what kills it. At least with Twitch chat, it's real enough to make you go, yeah, they care. They want to sit here and watch your stream. They're having a good time. They wouldn't be here if they weren't having a good time. They would just leave. And so, it's this immediate, like, burst of, like, energy. But, you know, sometimes you have fallouts with your community, and there's two I guess I could talk about. There's three that one I can talk about as well, but I don't want to. Sorry for the depressing change in tone. I was all jolly talking about, like, you meeting your Invader Zim girlfriend earlier, but now it's like, I'm on this cold, lonely bridge. Let's talk about people I argued with in Twitch chat. None of that. So, yeah, let's just put a pin in that topic. We'll talk about something else, such as birds. Did you know I had a strong attachment to vultures when I was a kid? I really liked vultures. I don't particularly know why. I think it's just because I was into, like, birds of prey already. Like, I was into eagles and hawks and just animals in general, but it was really birds of prey that I was really fascinated with at the time. And, that was one that I just got really attached to. Might have been a couple things. The wingspan, the consumption of dead meat, I thought was cool. They were like scavengers. They were also very symbolic. Like, if you see vultures up in the sky, you know what's up. Like, immediately, you recognize that big-ass wingspan, the tilted, the feathers that tilt forward, and, like, that narrow head. You see the vultures flying over, you know someone's dead, or something's dead. Why do they fly over for so long? Can they just not go down? Do they have to, like, spiral to the ground slowly over the course of time? I wonder why they do that. Huh. Anyway, vultures have tons of personality. I really like birds that have feather patterns that make them look like they're wearing clothing. And, like, that's the vulture to a T. I got the pink naked head to imply that there's a difference between his feathers there and the feathers on the rest of his body, being that he has none on his head. So he has just this weird, wrinkly lizard bird head, you know? It's pink. And so that's there. And what that goes down to, as you go down, you have this, like, very dominant beak and this very, like, almost always fixed into a permanent scowl facial expression. That then drops down even further down this long neck, right? And then it leads to this neck piece, or this puff of white feathers on the neck. It looks like the bird is wearing a fancy collar or a boa. And so right there, strong design. Pink head down to the white contrasting feathers. And what do you get right after that white? You get this classy black coat that the feather's wearing. You know, it's looking real good. Maybe some white on the tips of the feathers, but that's really where the design of the vulture ends. When you think of a vulture, that's what you think of. Pink head, white collar, pitch black feathers. Immediately, it puts a strong image in your head of what a vulture is. So, me being a kid and attracted to strong images, and specifically like colors as well, the vulture was just an instant little Alex. Cool profile, cool colors, cool bird in general. Just a cool bird with a ton of personality. Looks like a pissed off old man. Welcome to Alex's bird review show. What other birds do I really like? Huh. Really anything that matches that profile. I like flamingos, ostriches, emus. The bald eagle is, I don't think his design is nearly as strong as the vulture. I know, blasphemy, right? As an American. But, like, it's still a strong-looking bird. Falcons are rad. Peregrine falcons specifically. I had a strong attachment to that from Animorphs. That's what Tobias ends up getting transformed into. Did you know I used to just entertain my friends in the car by reading the fight scenes and Animorphs? Isn't that crazy? That was just something I did. Anyway, there were other birds I was attracted to. Like, specifically any birds, not attracted to, sorry. Interested in as a kid. And like to draw and like color and like look at pictures of. Cardinals and blue jays. Really any bird that had a strong color design. Strong character designs in birds. That's what Alex is into. Like, did someone put effort into the design of your bird? Then Alex is interested in it. Swallows. I like their forked tails. I thought that was rad. Pelicans. Really cool bird design. I really admire the artist that worked on it. I have 12 lockpicks. I can actually fucking open this chest. But yeah, big birds, big designs. I like them. Specifically in the form of profile and color. There was this movie I watched as a kid called Stranger in the Woods. Maybe it wasn't a movie, but it was like a D&D, it was like a DVD mini thing. And all it was like it was a camera recording of someone's backyard, right? And so in that backyard there were a bunch of different animals and the story, the narrator, or not, there wasn't even a narrator, it was just the birds would show up and announce their presence. Like, oh, there's a stranger in the woods, a stranger in the woods. And, like, certain puns and certain ways of talking would be applied to certain animals. Like, the owl would always be asking who's in the woods, and they're just like, a stranger, a stranger. And as it goes on, and it builds and builds and builds, you eventually find out that the stranger in the woods is just a snowman that someone built in the woods. And then the animals, piece by piece, I don't know if I added this in my mind because I thought it was funny, just take the stranger apart and eat them. But, like, because, like, there's edible parts in a snowman. You can eat that snow. You can eat that carrot. The deer, of course, took the carrot. But it was obviously, like, a passion project someone put together over the course of, like, a year, or over the course of a winter, just recording all the different animals in the woods and then editing it together. This was a boxed DVD. Like, we bought that somewhere. I don't know where, but I know it wasn't even original. It was based off of a book, I think. Damn it, now I want to stop playing Skyrim and do some of this fucking Stranger in the Woods research, but this is what I got right now. So I'll just try to make shit up like you're supposed to, like journalists do, you know? And so I believe it was based off of a book. Or the book was based off of it, because I don't remember if the book had painted pictures or photographs. It was one or the other. And I'll get to the bottom of this bullshit later. But for now, this is what I got. And that was just crazy to me, that was something that, like, I was... like, I got excited to watch that around Christmas time. It's like, what the fuck? Where the water at? Where, am I in it right now? What the fuck? God, these brownies are strong. Holy shit. Where the water at? Anyway, yeah, I got excited for footage of a man's backyard and crappy voice acting. But that was just little kid me, you know? I liked it. It made me happy. It brought me some sort of peace, I guess. Or I just really liked animals. I really liked animals. That was a big thing. Like, dinosaurs was the real shit, because it's like ancient, cooler fantasy animals. But like, yeah, for me, I was all about nature and animals and stuff at that age. Like, I just liked seeing cool animals. Kind of a thing you forget about when you're older is just how awesome nature is. That's something I've rediscovered with my current girlfriend. My girlfriend. Hopefully for a while. I really like her. She's been, it's like living with my best friend, you know? And they're always my best friend. And I can hit that. Anyway, yeah, so she really reignited my interest in nature. And really got me fascinated in, like, showing her cool things I learned about science and animals and such. Like, I got to teach her about underwater worms. She had no idea that undersea worms existed, and I got to be the one to be like, look into her eyes and see the excitement and fear when she discovered what undersea worms were. I got to be the one to show her videos of them and, like, listen to her, like, go, ugh, every time she saw one. It was a great time. Undersea worms. Ladies love them. Goodbye to your fucking mud crab, asshole. Why don't you come down and kick my ass? Anyway. Alright, here they come. I'm gonna kick my ass. Goodbye. Oh, wait, I didn't crit. Well, this has gone horribly awry. Let me just kill this douche real quick. Alright, you need to stop that. Fuck you. Get back here. Asshole. That was Berserker's Rage, by the way. That is an ability that us orcs have. There's a fire up the hill. I saw it. So cold. I'm injured. Right. A girlfriend, yeah, so really reignited my interest in nature and animals. And just realizing how cool animals and nature really are. How much I want to see the world outside my own little, comfortable little house. Once upon a time, the only place I was interested in going to besides America was Japan. Now I want to go a bunch of places. Just to see, you know? Just to be there. It's been really a great time. And to think that's what excited little Alex. Thinking back to it now, and I wouldn't be thinking back to it if I wasn't playing Skyrim. I wouldn't be playing Skyrim if I wasn't high, and you wouldn't be seeing this amazing moment for me if you weren't here. And I'm very thankful for you guys being here if you are this far into the video. Or videos in this case. This might be a series. Yeah. So, yeah, now we're getting into, like, some interesting shit, is that I'm rediscovering things I loved as a kid, but just, as a kid I went, next thing, and just kind of dropped it. Like, I would have never thought animals would be the thing that got me excited. But, like, yeah, talking about the vulture, talking about the eagle, the cardinal, all the awesome different animals we have out there, has really kind of showed me how much I've lost or can regain from my childhood. Like, animals are awesome. Nature's sick. I don't know why, for so many years, I was so utterly bored by the world around me. Like, I remember talking and asking my drawing teacher at school when I was taking a drawing class, hey, can I draw things off of a screen? Can I draw, like, can I draw things off of a screen? And he's like, no, because that's not real depth. You're being shown an image of depth. You want to actually learn to be the simulation of depth by studying real life depth. Hence why you need to draw objects that actually exist. And I responded, yeah, but everything around me is boring. Like, everything. Everything bored the shit out of me. All I cared about was, at the time, Dark Souls and Berserk, but, like, video games and pop culture. I just had no understanding of the world around me. And now I get, like, my girlfriend mentions wanting to go, like, shopping for wine glasses. And I'm excited. Like, I really want to go shopping for wine glasses with my girlfriend. Does that mean I'm whipped? It probably means I'm whipped. I don't feel very whipped. I feel powerful. Probably because I'm high. That being said, yeah, such things excite me now. And that's great, you know. I'm excited to see certain kinds of animals, certain kinds of plants, just things that are in life around me. I have a stronger reception to them. And great. And I'm really happy. And yeah, birds are fucking sick is the real point I really want to go down to. Birds, reptiles, and amphibians are probably some of the... Fish, too. Yeah, birds... Really everything that's not a mammal is, like, the coolest shit in the animal kingdoms. And there are some kick-ass mammals, too. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I love cats. I love dogs. I'm freezing to death. You know. All the truths I have to speak. I'm freezing to death. I need to get into a cave or something. Yeah, I'm dead. I'm dying. I need to get into a cave. Come on, Asakara. Go, go, go. But yeah, like, animals are cool. It's really neat. Learning all the shit about nature and, like, rediscovering things I loved from my childhood. Yeah. I love superheroes as a kid, not in the way that I love superheroes now. Maybe one day I will read something or talk to someone that helps reignite that passion. Because as a kid, I don't remember why I like superheroes. But as an adult, I know I like superhero comics. Like, I like Batman as a character, but I don't know what made me like him as a kid. Maybe the thing that made me like it as a kid isn't the lengthy thing I'm going to discover, but it's the simple thing I don't even think about. Such as, man, why are vultures so cool? I actually had to work my way back to that, to understanding why I like vultures so much. I like birds, and vulture was just the coolest bird, and, like, thinking about it eventually led me to the conclusion of what I eventually reached. But I didn't have to think about it as a kid, because it was right there in front of me, as clear as day. But now I don't think about it at all, because what is clear as day becomes instinct. You know what I mean? I could describe all that to you as a kid, but as an adult, I don't even think about it. It's just there. Like, yeah, of course vultures are cool. And so, the thing I would realize about superheroes is something that isn't something I'll think about, it's something I feel. It's like why do I get excited when I see pictures of the Phantom? Like, the Phantom, like, the comic, / the Billy Zane movie. When I see the Phantom, I get pumped. And I like the Phantom a lot as a kid, but I never thought as to why. Everything about him is just so fucking cool. I think what I appreciated as a kid was strong character design. The Phantom, you look at him and he's got some strong character design, but when I look at Batman nowadays, I don't even think about it. I think about all the cool stories he's been on. I think about, you know, the Killing Joke and Dark Knight Returns and all that shit. But, like, the Phantom doesn't have any of that. So all I have left to think about with him is how awesome his character design is and how much I enjoyed watching that movie, how much I enjoyed reading the few Phantom comics my grandpa had. It was nice. And it just brings back fond memories. Like, I remember when I watched a bit of Venture Bros and Phantom Limb came on screen, I lost my shit. I'm like, oh my god! Holy fucking shit! Someone else knows what the Phantom is! This is the best day ever! I'm easily pleased. Oh god, I'm dying. What's killing me? What's killing me? Oh god, I'm scared. I think I might have to retreat. This hardcore survival mode does not fuck around. I might have to take him out of range. I'm gonna die if I get too close. I think I need to just find a nice corner where I can be warm. But yeah. So yeah, the things I have to think about a lot now to get to the core of back then were just instinctual. And I think if I continue to do what I do, like think about things and discover why I like things, there's a chance that I might be able to expand my love of things, I guess. A lot of things in that sentence, and I didn't really come to a cohesive conclusion there. The conclusion is child Alex was easier to satisfy than adult Alex. But I mean, now I know why. It's because I was developing instincts. I was developing the kind of thing that I don't have to think about now, but I would just notice it as a kid. I guess that explains why I was so much more critical as a kid, too. Yeah, we're doing this boring. Sorry. Can't survive fighting this thing. It'll kill me. Like that. Alright, well now I might as well, you know? I will chop down your tree ass. Alright. Well, I guess while this loading screen gives me an opportunity to talk about, like, yeah, I was developing instincts. I was developing the more passive part of my brain, I guess. You know, I'll wait in here for warmth, and then I'll retreat. Sit right here. I was developing the more passive part of my brain, and now the active part has taken hold, but the passive has fallen to the wayside. I'm really hungry. You guys hungry? We should get some food. And hopefully by rediscovering that passive, I can learn to appreciate the world around me more. That's what I would say. Rediscovering the passive is important. Not holding on to the active so much. How long has this recording been going? It's been going for 1 hour and 16 minutes. If you're watching this in episode chunks, if I decide to cut it up that way, then yeah, well, welcome to like episode 10, I guess. Knowing how short my videos are. But yeah, like, developing the passive, being able to allow yourself to open up and also analyze what's coming in. Like, think about the sound as it enters you. Think about the sight as you get it. Sound as it enters you? Fuck, Alex. One thing I was really interested in as a kid, which I cannot place for the life of me today, was Thomas the Tank Engine. Like, I was obsessed with Thomas the Tank Engine to the point where I got really angry when my friend dressed up as Thomas the Tank Engine for Halloween, because I wanted to be Thomas the Tank Engine for Halloween. That motherfucker. Anyway, I digress. But one thing I remember fondly was the live-action movie with Alec Baldwin playing Topham Hatt. Or not Topham Hatt. Playing as the conductor. Right? And I also remember Diesel, Deadly Diesel. He was the villain of that movie. He had the giant claw. He threatened to cut Alec Baldwin in half with it. Let's not talk about that. But I had a figure. I had a little train toy of Diesel. I just always thought he was the coolest. Like, that's the number one thing. Whenever I was at family gatherings with my mom, and so like my little cousins come up and they're talking about their favorite things, and they go, "Oh, I like this, I like that," and I go, "Oh, really? I like this," and they're just like looking at me with confusion. I'm trying to think of an immediate example. You know what the best example is? We were my uncle's a very smart man, and he was trying to teach his son about the U.S. president, and he was asking all these questions. It almost felt like he was showing off, you know. He's like, "Hey, we got folks over. Hey, Hayes, show them how smart you are." It was quizzing his kid on the presidents, and Hayes said his favorite, I believe his favorite president. Oh, man, I feel like I should remember it. And so he tells me his favorite presidents, and I'm like listening. He's really smart, and he's explaining all these things the president did and didn't do that it makes him really like him. Like, wow, this is one smart kid. What's your favorite president, Alex? And I smile and I just go, Andrew Jackson. What? Let me explain. I don't care about politics, nor do I care that much about it. Well, I do care about history. I find it very fascinating, but like, Andrew Jackson is my favorite president because I've heard the most stories about Andrew Jackson that have made me smile and made me laugh. And also one that made me kind of miserable and pissed, but yeah, Trail of Tears, Yeah, when I say he's my favorite to talk about. He's not really my... Like, if Andrew Jackson was running today with that as his past, I probably wouldn't elect him for president. But, yeah, Trail of Tears and all that noise. More like... The thing that I like is that he had pistol duels with people he disagreed with in Parliament. That he was called Old Hickory and that he was just a grouchy old fuck. Who was just this, like, as stubborn as an oak. But my mom had to explain earlier at the gathering that I like villains. That I'm really into villains. And so, as a little kid, I loved Wizard of Oz. Why? Was it the music? No. Was it that I wanted to be the Tin Man or the Cowardly Lion? No, of course not. It was the witch. I loved the witch. She was so fucking cool. The Wicked Witch of the West is awesome. I loved everything about her. The black get-up and just this hard contrast with all the warmer colors of Oz versus the witch. Just so cool. The voice, her army of flying monkeys, the broom. It was like trailing smoke through the sky. I remember being disappointed with Harry Potter because the brooms in it didn't have cool fire effects. Like, that was disappointing to me. That's the kind of kid I was. And so, like, the Wicked Witch of the West was kick-ass. Second place, of course, goes to the Tin Man. But, like, I love the Wicked Witch of the West. I need to read Wicked. I hear it's a good book. I also hear it's a good musical. Need to listen to it sometime. My favorite musical right now is Fiddler on the Roof. Why? Because it tells a really good story through its songs. I don't feel like it's an interruption. I remember most musicals I go, that was great. I would have preferred just the soundtrack. Like The Greatest Showman, I love every track in The Greatest Showman. Would I watch it? No! Would I watch it again? No, a movie's not great, but I love the music. And I'd love to spend more time listening to it. And singing it, too. It's really fun. But, like, Fiddler on the Roof, I love. I love all the music. I love every song is so catchy. I love the story with Repetavia and all that. I really like everything involving that movie. Its place in history. The acting is fucking phenomenal. I adore Fiddler on the Roof. So yeah, I might enjoy Wicked. And I should read it, because I also hear there's a novel. I saw it on my mom's fucking bedside table once. So I know it exists. And so I could read it and learn more about the Wicked Witch of the West, which is, ironically enough, the most disappointing part of The Wizard of Oz. In terms of a book. In terms of the book. The book, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, is fantastic. Like, look, you may be an adult, and you may not be into that kind of fantasy, but if you like Lord of the Rings or Narnia, read Wizard of Oz. It's up there. It's so good as a fantasy novel. I was blown away. Did you know there's a scene in the book where the Tin Man, and you might hear me like talking about this in the D&D video on Once Upon a Time in D&D, if you're somehow connected to that. He kills 40 wolves with his axe and his bare hands. I'm not even joking. And the way it was described in the book, it was so childlike and simple, of just like, with each swing, a wolf head fell to the ground. It was each chop took a wolf's head, and many chops there were. And it's just like, he just beheaded 40 wolves, because that's how the Tin Man roll. That makes him awesome. I've seen some really good fan art of just the Tin Man sitting there with like a pile of wolf carcasses, and like blood coating his metal hull. And like, that was so sick. On top of that, the best thing is what the Scarecrow says is just like, it was a good fight, friend. Good fight. It was like the most anime moment in the entire book. I want to see an anime Wizard of Oz. Like, done by like Studio Ghibli, but like, willing to have the gore of something like Princess Mononoke. Because it needs it for a couple scenes. Like, that scene would be, like, beautiful if done in the style of, like, Princess Mononoke. I love Wizard of Oz. One of my favorite books. Up there with, like, the original Hobbit, to be honest. Shit, what else was I going to say? Other things about the book I really liked. It's like a fossil? Anyway, other things about the book I really liked. Like Dorothy as a character. She is kind of a wonderful ray of sunshine. And in the darker scenes in the book, it really makes it easy to appreciate her. Oh yeah, the origin of the Tin Woodsman. No one ever talks about that. People will reference it constantly, but no one will actually talk about what the origin of the Tin Woodsman is. Do you know why he is a man made out of tin and literally the only one in Oz? Well, once upon a time, the Tin Man really liked a woman. And he really liked her, and he wanted to make her a house, but he was a poor man and could not afford to buy her a house. And so, he made a deal with one of the witches. And the witch told him, gave him a magical axe that could cut down a tree in a single swing. And he said, "Thank you so much," to the witch. And the witch didn't tell him, however, that the axe was cursed, so that every time he cut down a tree, every time he fell a tree, he would grow more clumsy and would miss more often. And so what ended up happening is, as he was leveling an entire forest, he would begin cutting parts of himself off. He'd lose a finger or a nose or a thumb, and he would then have to go into the local village, visit the local blacksmith, and have that part of him replaced with a metal component, like a metal hand or a metal nose, metal ear. And he just kept doing that over the course of time until his entire body was metal, head to toe. Now, eventually, I don't know what happened with the girl. I think she ended up leaving him because he never finished the house, and that he couldn't do what he wanted for her. But he doesn't seem too torn up about that, to be honest. Maybe he did. Maybe he was really torn up about it, but I just can't remember right now because high. But like, yeah, I don't remember him saying anything more about it. But yeah, I think everything in that story perfectly explains what's so great about The Wizard of Oz. It feels like it's a real living, breathing world told from the perspective of a child, I guess. That rope looks fucked up. And I think that perspective is, does it make sense to a child? If the answer is yes, put it in the book. And so, yeah, like, there's a bunch of shit in that story that seems like it wouldn't make any sense at all, and would be completely unrealistic. And it is, but to the logic of a child and to the logic of the Wizard of Oz, it makes perfect sense. Of course you could replace parts of your body with metal. Of course those parts would animate. Like, just the kind of things that make sense to a kid. And if you're into that kind of fantasy, then read Wizard of Oz. It's fantastic. Also, watch Return to Oz. Return to Oz, I've never read the book it's based off of because I tend to watch the movie adaptations of things first. It's fantastic as a film. It's full of so much interesting subtext that I never noticed as a kid. And it's in the original Wizard of Oz, right? But Oz has such a darker context in the Return to Oz. Okay, so, in the original Wizard of Oz, the movie, the Wizard of Oz, going forward, I will say Wizard of Oz when I mean the movie, and Wonderful Wizard of Oz when I mean the book. Keep that in mind. So, Wizard of Oz, Dorothy, where was I going with this? Right, Dorothy's uncles were the same actors that played the Tin Woodsman and the Scarecrow. And there were some other actors that were reused, such as the fortune teller also played the wizard. I always saw this as like being just a fun little thing, but what it mainly is referencing is that Oz is a dream world. Oz is a dream world. Oz is not real. What actually happened is Dorothy hit her head while either she hit her head or she fainted while her house was being taken by the tornado, and woke up in Oz. This was all a silly dream. It was all a wonderful, wonderful dream. And so, in Return to Oz, it has a very different context. And it is now, things have wound down quite a bit in Oz. Are in the regular world. The excitement of over having Dorothy back has completely faded. She's here now, and she needs to help rebuild the house. It's bad. Shit's hard. It's the Great Depression. We don't have the money to, exist, so we really need to work hard on getting the farm back in running order. And that all makes perfect sense, But Dorothy... all she can talk about, all she can think about, are her adventures in Oz. And so, Auntie M is starting to get upset. All my daughter can think about is this Oz place. This wasn't real. And she's, like, talking about wanting to go back there. I need to take her to a doctor. I'm afraid she might be, like, mentally ill. And so she takes her to a old school psychiatrist. Where it's an asylum. She's taken into the asylum. And at this point, while I'm watching the movie, I'm beginning to note certain things. Like the electroshock machine having a face. The fact that a girl just comes to her room and brings her a pumpkin. All these little details that are like letting me know, hey, there's more to this. Similar to her uncles in Oz. However, I'll just continue. Instead of like going however or whatever, you know. So, you know, the events of the film happen. She's inside the sanitarium. The night of her getting shocked to get her healthy again, a great storm breaks out, and she ends up jumping into the river with Ozma, which is the girl who tried helping her. And she gets swept away back into Oz, and while this is happening, she's just running away from her. And so the movie then progresses. From that point, we begin to see Oz in a post-apocalyptic state. It's been torn apart and it needs to be fixed. She meets her friends. She meets Jack. She meets the Gump. She meets TikTok. Man, this has got to be really fucking confusing if you haven't seen this movie. So she meets all these characters, right? And each of them has, of course, a parody of the real world. One of them literally being a chicken that followed her into the dream. And so... right. Yes. And so the movie progresses. And as time goes on, you see more and more characters. She has to thwart the Gnome King, who has taken back all the emeralds from the Emerald City and completely fucked over all the people of Oz, planning to keep all of them as stone statues. He's the main villain of the movie. He's thought to be the Oz equivalent. Turns out to be more like the Witch. The Witch equivalent seems to be more sidekick. Oh yeah, and the Witch is the nurse from the hospital. Alright, are you with me so far? Are you with me? Hope you are, because it's going to go further. At this point, she then... after she defeats the Gnome King, she eventually, resurrects everyone. The Scarecrow, who is king, comes back. They save the Scarecrow. He saves Oz. And everything seems to be shaping up well. However, as Dorothy approaches the throne room in this really creepy scene, that's just quiet. It's so quiet as she's just wandering. None of the Oz people have any animation to them. Like, Scarecrow and Tin Man are terrifying because they're just people in suits wearing masks. There's no makeup, And so it's just this really creepy scene. And as Dorothy arrives, they see that they're taking her to a throne, and they want her to become the Queen of Oz. And everyone's chanting her name. Dorothy, stay here with us. Be the Queen of Oz. And I'm like, oh, this just got way darker. Because Oz is a fugue state. First time I ever heard of this was actually in a Doctor Who special. And it's when you basically, something so bad happens to you that your brain just has to run away. And to Dorothy, her dreams are this fugue state. Whenever something bad's happening, whether she's about to be shocked by a machine to restore her sanity and a storm happens and humans, like adults, are chasing her, trying to trap her, or like just a tornado, she runs away. Her brain runs away. And she is unable to interact with the real world for a certain period of time. That is Oz. That is what Oz is. I'm gonna eat all this. I can't just eat raw clam meat. I'll get sick. That's stupid, Alex. What are you doing? Bread. Bread. Here. Cheese. Yeah, now I can move. Where was I? Yeah, so she has this fugue state. And so, if she accepts becoming the Queen of Oz, then she'll just stay in Oz forever, And then where will we be? She'll just be Queen of Oz forever, and she won't ever be able to leave, and she'll be in this permanent dream state, and she'll pretty much just die. I believe that is the implication, that it will just kill her. And so now, after going through a much darker version of Oz, Dorothy declines and goes, no, I need to go home. And Ozma points out to her, like, you have the slippers. Go. No place like home. Cast that spell. You know the spell. Cast that shit. And so she does and goes home. And at the end of the story, very similar to the end of the movie Labyrinth, she sees Ozma in her mirror. And yeah, she can visit whenever she wants now, because Oz is the place she can go to escape, but she doesn't have to stay there. It'll always be there waiting for her when she needs it. And it doesn't, like, life may get hard. Life may get really hard for Dorothy going forward. However, whenever she needs to, she can step into Oz for a bit, where she is seen as the queen. She is loved. She is worth something. So she can remember what she's fighting for when she steps back into the real world. And so that's how our story ends with Return to Oz. Right? This Wizard of Oz movie has all this crazy dark meaning behind it, and I'm just like, that's what I love about the book. It's not as hidden, and you really do get a feeling for the world of Oz, and you begin to, like, really feel for Dorothy as a character. Like, if I told you I like Dorothy as a character, it's like, okay, man, sure, whatever, she's fine, I guess. But, like, in the book, she really is a character, and I really do love her, and I really do love all the characters of Oz. Maybe it's because when I read it, I was in, like, a really emotional state that just makes me weak to that kind of children's media. But, like, Wizard of Oz is a great book. Or, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz is a great book, and, grab it. Anyway, I really do recommend it if you're a fan of fantasy. Not just children's fantasy, but fantasy in general. Like, it's really that high quality. Shame what happened. Shame the author never made that much money from it. Great job. I adore that book. Cannot wait to read Return. Cannot wait to read Return to Oz, because I've already, you know, I've watched all the live action adaptations, all the adaptations of Wizard of Oz. Now I can just read the books and enjoy the story for what it is. So yeah, I do hope that you take the time and watch Return to Oz. Even if you don't understand the story it's a sequel to, which is it's more of a sequel to the first book than it is a sequel to the old movie. I recommend giving it a watch. I feel like it's the most accurate look at Oz from the books. Because Oz is a scary, confusing place. It's not all sunshine and rainbows all the time. It can be quite scary. Like a lot of old fantasy and children's literature. You know what's really funny about everything I just said? Is that at the beginning of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, there's a foreword by the writer who writes that children's media is way too focused on trying to teach kids a lesson, and not nearly focused enough on being fun, whimsical, and most importantly, taking the kids away to another world, where they can forget about their troubles, the real world.
Sorry, I was lost in thought. I'm planning my wedding, you see. So many details to work out.
I'm happy for you, Victoria. And so, what I find fascinating is that all this meaning is in there. And maybe it's not, you know? Maybe, like, much like people reading PTSD, or reading that Lord of the Rings is somehow a metaphor for World War I, because that Tolkien fought in World War I. Do you have one for me?
I can take you to any port on the coast.
Take me? Yeah, take me. Where can you take me?
Headed?
Both of those are terrible options. Never mind, buddy.
Right.
I'll go find a carriage. Much like, yeah, Tolkien, where people will just automatically make that assumption, even though he said that it's not a metaphor for that or World War II. Again, things people just say, you know? The thing about Oz is that at the very beginning, yeah, right, says that, but there's so much. He said, I believe he said primarily it should be about those things. And so there are lessons to be taken from Wizard of Oz, and Return to Oz especially. Maybe they added that to the movie, and maybe, because I don't remember that there being that much dream metaphor stuff in the book. I think that was a thing mainly added for the films, and I think it really works in Return to Oz, though. I appreciate that movie for the same reason I appreciate Labyrinth. Well, same reasons, actually. One, amazing special effects, and two, just a great meta-narrative. If you were ever confused by the end of Goblin King, or in the end of Goblin King, wow, that'd been a kick-ass name for the movie. By the end of Labyrinth, I can do a bit of explaining because I was confused, you know. So, Labyrinth is about one girl who accidentally sacrificed her baby sister to the Goblin King in this fantasy world. So let me explain. This girl lives in the normal world. She's annoyed by her baby daughter, or her baby sister, and so she jokingly, or like in her own little fantasy mind, sacrifices her sister to the Goblin King, who, turns out to be real, and the goblins are real, and they want to turn her baby sister into a new goblin. And so they take her, and the sister then has to go on this journey into the labyrinth to rescue her baby sister from the Goblin King, played by David Bowie, of course. And so she goes on this journey, solving many puzzles and getting into many interesting scenarios, one of which being the complete destruction of her home. The complete building and then destruction of her home and family right in front of her eyes. That part I always thought was super interesting. I need to rewatch it before I comment on that part. But what I can talk about is the very ending of the movie, in which she confronts the Goblin King and then ends up back home in her room, and the Goblin King and all the goblins appear on her bed and just go, "Hey, don't worry, you can hang out with us whenever you want." And they just all start to party in the room, and the baby sister's there, and she's having a great time, and everything's great. And that's how the movie ends. And I was pissed the first time I watched it. I'm like, what do you mean we don't get to fight the Goblin King? What do you mean we don't get to see how this story ends? Like the way I explained it to you, it sounds... That I can do. It sounds like the writer just gave up. But then I thought about it. And I thought about what the world of Labyrinth is. The world of Labyrinth primarily is something that... Okay, there was never a moment... Okay, how do I put it? The world of Labyrinth is made up by the girl. And she talks about it, she sings songs to it. It's something that she made up in her head. And that she escapes to when she doesn't want to deal with her baby sister. See, I'm tying it in just like Return to Oz. And this world exists only in her head. And so when she sacrifices her baby sister to it,
Trouble?
that means that is like primarily a symbol of her embracing her escapism and denying the real world and the real responsibility she has as a sister. And so because of that, she then has to go on a journey to get her sister back, and the journey only ends when she accepts two things. One, this is a fantasy world, and that she has to eventually return and accept the responsibility she has as an older sister. And two, she can return when she needs to, and that her friends will always be there waiting for her when she needs them. And so, there you go. Same reveal as as Return to Oz. It's just, hey, escapism is great.
Outside the walls is
Don't overdo it.
honest gold for honest work.
Man, I remember when all you could do in this game is just get firewood and then sell it. Sorry. Yeah, that was just a part of it, I guess. Man, I was just thinking. I wonder if that was the point of the firewood. Like when they first said to themselves, "Let's give you the ability to chop firewood." Did they have Hearthfire planned before that? I think it's very likely that they did. I'm not going to say that they did outright, but it makes sense to me as a gamer. Makes sense to me as a gamer that they had it planned beforehand, and that Hearthfire was just them repurposing cut content, as developers tend to do. I know the Dark Souls devs do this. Mainly because a shit ton of the cut content in the Dark Souls design works ended up in Dark Souls, ended up in Atoria's of the Abyss. Yeah, Hearthfire. Right, Hearthfire expansion. Got it. Okay, so it makes sense that all that would have been added. I'm sure there's a bunch more stuff left on the cutting room table, both in Skyrim and in its various DLCs. So I pose a question to you, viewer. What if we lived in a world in which there was no next Elder Scrolls game, and they just kept adding on to the one we got? So every once a year we'd get a couple DLC that we could purchase. I guess that would get tiring after a while, and the sales would eventually drop. But like, I don't know. Now that I think about it, that's not all that interesting.
What do you need?
Because there are games that are run like that, and they have their issues. Anyway, hey there,
Need a
Tyre.
ride?
Yeah, let's go somewhere.
Where do you want
Alright,
to
there's
go?
gonna be a few topics like that that are just dead topics. Somewhere warm. I don't remember what Riften looks like. Let's go to
Climb
Riften.
and back, and we'll be off.
Riften, ho, let us go. Riften
Never
time.
been to Riften.
The
Be sure to
Blackbriar
visit the
Meadery.
Blackbriar Meadery.
Oh wait, is Riften where the fucking Thieves Guild is? God, I don't want that. I don't. I don't need that shit in my life right now. Also, I'd like to point out that I named the folder for this Scrim. Whoa! What's happening? I'm very hungry.
Hold there.
Nope.
Before I
No.
let you into Rift,
No, I'm just gonna go
you
in.
need to pay the visitor's tax.
Take my advice.
You want in?
Don't listen
You-
to that talk of
Hold
the face
there.
sculptor down in the ragged
Before
flat.
I let you into Riften,
Butcher is more
you
like
need to
it
pay
from
the
what I've
visitor's tax. For the privilege of entering the city. All right, keep your voice down.
Yay,
Want
no
everyone
speech
to hear-
skill. Yay, I can just click through that dialogue. That'd have been... Man, it would have been so cool if that didn't work and I had to actually think of a way to get in. Like pickpocket the key off of him, find an alternate entrance.
I had another run-in with a thief's guild.
Oh, hey, Mule.
Be careful, Mule. The Thieves Guild has Maven Blackbriar at her back.
I don't know you. You and Riften looking for trouble?
Looking for food, asshole.
They represent the reason I'm here.
Yeah, that was a dead-end topic. I'll find something, though. What the hell with all these quest trackers going on? Investigate the man wandering the streets? No. Talk to the face sculpture on the dragon flagon? No.
When you borrowed the money, you said you'd pay it back on time. for
I'm
double-
looking for an inn because I am dying, sir.
And nothing happened.
I think I've officially run out of things to talk about.
Telling me you robbed it?
I'm
Why?
sorry, guys.
Why are you doing this to me?
The Bee and Barb? What's the Bee and Barb? Bee and Barb.
People of Riften, heed my words. The return of the dragons is not mere coincidence.
And I'm just here for
This is one
food.
of the signs.
Hey, sexy
Signs
lizard
that
lady.
Lady Mara is displeased with your constant inebriation. Put down your
If you've
flag and
got the
spill
coin,
your
you're
vile
welcome
words.
here.
And
Otherwise,
embrace the
hit the
teachings of
road.
handmaiden of
Hey,
Khan.
you're a fucking pleasant person to be around.
Let's sate that appetite,
Here for sale. Potatoes. Blackbriar mead. Have food. Or.
No, Maramo. We talked about this.
Sorry, guys. I'm running out of things to talk about. Guess here would be a good place as any to wrap it up. Getting stupidly high and hungry anyway, so. Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, that's awesome. Thank you for watching it. If you want to see more like this,
Kira,
subscribe and stay
certainly we can
tuned.
come to some sort of
Or
understanding.
probably subscribe
Must be made
to
aware of the chaos.
The Lodge of the Cat, which is linked down below as my other channel. That is where I will upload most of my work. And hopefully I'll be able to edit this
Very
down a
well,
little
Talon.
bit. Put it up on that
I'll
channel.
remove
Can I
Can I get
have some
take a
salt?
look?
Buy some salt, please. Thank you. Salt.
Come
We're
back
not
and see
kicking
us.
them
Oh
out.
man.
Just keep the sermons at the temple.
Just
Let us all sing
yeah,
in
check that shit
peace.
out, man. Hopefully you'll be able to see this go up and enjoy it. I might stack some alcohol on top of this to see if that makes it. I don't know if it will. Kinda worried it won't. Ooh boy, yeah, the high's going. Anyways, take care.